Hi everybody. Sama De Levine, as you know, hopefully, intuitive and medium. And today we're going to do the subject of sleep paralysis. So last week I did on shadow people, and oftentimes sleep paralysis is definitely tied to shadow people, or people experience sleep paralysis a lot when they see or experience shadow people in their space. And so I want to explain it. And I also want to explain that it's really not as scary and crazy as you probably hear and see a lot on here, on YouTube, on Google, and pretty much everywhere else. And anybody who's probably shared their story. I'm not saying it's not a scary experience, and it may not freak, what may freak you out actually, but it's not what you think is happening. So I want to kind of debunk a lot of that and explain it and clarify it. I also want to thank everybody who has joined from the Bigfoot Collectors Club. I did a really cool podcast. I was a guest on with Michael McMillan and Bryce Johnson and Riley, and they have a great podcast called the Bigfoot Collectors Club. We talked everything under the sun paranormal. There are two actors. You might know them from different things they've done, like True Blood and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Pretty Little Liars, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so some of you have joined from there, and I appreciate it. And also The Witch and the Medium, me and Mystic Dylan's new podcast that we've been getting some traction on, so I appreciate it. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. Subscribe here if you are into it, and like and comment. I love hearing comments and all of that. So let's just get that out of the way, and let's just dive into sleep paralysis. All right, so, and I have coffee today. I have coffee every day, but I'm like being upfront these days about it. Okay. So, yes, I had sleep paralysis pretty much most of my childhood. I would get these feelings of, I couldn't move. I mean, I pretty much remember having sleep paralysis most of my life, and I don't have it anymore, and I'm going to explain how I've learned to stop it and control all that, because what is really happening. So I'm going to kind of blow away some of the myths. People feel like that there's something demonic, and I think I've already talked a lot about here that it is really rare that something is demonic, very rare. And if it is, you're not having a little sleep paralysis. You're going to have something much deeper, much crazier, and you wouldn't even doubt what's happening. You'd be screaming out of your space. And I'm going to do a video on, those type of energies. Okay, so sleep paralysis also sometimes is depicted as a incubus and a succubus, and all that kind of stuff is trying to like take your soul or hold you down and attack you. I'm going to cover that there are incidences where things get a little wonky, where there are entities that are doing things that are not appropriate and are doing things that are invading, and maybe even creating, kind of crossing the line of what they should be doing. But that is a smaller percentage, and I'll share a story in a little bit about that, and I'm going to talk about how to take care of it. But sleep paralysis is really what's actually happening is your spirit is trying to come out of your body. So it is kind of the beginning of learning astral projection and things like this, which I'm going to do a video on. Astral projection is when your spirit is going out of your body and traveling around this world, not going into the other dimensions, into the other realms, and all of that. But it's more going like, I'm going to go see and hang out like in New York or to my friend's house. It's more traveling around the earthly realm. And sleep paralysis is the reason why sometimes people see a shadow or a figure or something, and they feel like something is actually pushing down on their chest is really that is trying to pull you out and have you visit with them. So it's the same when you have visitations and dreams with spirits. People think that the spirits are talking to you in your dream and coming in your dream, but it's really your spirit is leaving your body and going into that realm and visiting with them. So sometimes spirits are trying to help you visit with them and pull you out of your body. Now, your family members and friends aren't trying to do something to totally freak you out. They're actually don't want to do that. But if you are kind of open to stuff, if you kind of actually have your own sort of gift of being able to see things, if you've visited with that realm a lot and you've been comfortable and you've been kind of talking to that realm and wanting them to, have a visitation with you, then they may go, okay, I'm trying to help you see me and get you out of it's basically your astral body trying to come out. Now, I watched a movie this weekend that I have never seen called Doctor Strange, and I know about it and everything. And when I watched that movie, it had a lot of truth of how I see things. When she pushes his astral body out of his body and he's going through all these realms and dimensions, I was like, yeah, this is very similar. And pretty much that's what's trying to happen, is you're trying to go. So what happens when you get sleep paralysis? Now, I'm going to say, of course, there are medical situations, things that happen to people that you might want to check out. I'm not a believer in that everything has to be spiritualized, everything has to be actualized in that kind of way. Yes, I believe in that. I believe in the physical body, and I believe that physical things happen to us, and that maybe you could be going through something medically. Of course, you should always check those things out. But far as on a energy level and a spiritual level, paranormal level, sleep paralysis is when your spirit is trying to leave the body. And what happens is you get a little freaked out, right? You get a little scared, okay? You didn't have your coffee. No, I'm just joking. And you stop it from happening. So that feeling you're getting on your chest is actually something trying to help pull your spirit out. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Are there entities and spirits who are like, hey, just come play with us, you'll be fine, and we don't care that this is freaking you out. We don't care that you're like having a hard time. Yes, absolutely. There are ones that are not adhering to the laws. Now, I'm not a rule follower. I don't believe in rules. I believe that you should follow your own intuition, follow your own compass, and follow no one, like I said at end of every YouTube that I do. But there is spiritual laws and rules of adhering to making sure that that world isn't interfering too much in this world, in the sense of creating havoc, creating problems, creating terror, creating interfering in this world too much. So I have experience, and I'll tell a story. I was with someone, and he kind of had some things I think he experimented in his life, and so there were, I would say darker energies, and something did touch me. I could feel it. I woke up, something touching me in an appropriate way, and he was dead asleep, and I did feel something trying to pull on me, right? It's not like pushing you down like people think. It's really trying to pull you. And I had to do a lot of energy to get it to go away. Now, the reason why I know this was real, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, I called in St. Michael, which I believe in, and I'm going to do a video on St. Michael, is an energy. Obviously, it's not actually an angel with feather wings. It's a vibration and an energy source that cuts the other energy source that is disrupting and breaking the rules. Basically, that's what that energy's job is to make sure that other entities aren't breaking the rules of this world. when the person I was with woke up, he talked about a dream of something very, very sinister that he's seen before, that was in his dream and tempting him and talking to him, and he knew it wasn't good, and said he was battling it. So me being me and being able to see things, I saw it, and it was trying to pull onto me, but I battled it, and I remember feeling like I was battling it for both of us. Now, that happens. I'm not saying it doesn't. And when that happens, when it's something that you clearly can see is not doing the right things, is feeling like it doesn't feel good. But that was definitely a confirmation, because I could hear it and see it, and it wasn't feeling pleasant. But not all sleep paralysis is bad. That's what I'm trying to say. The cats are coming to say hi again. Yes. So not all of it is bad. Sometimes it is, I would say 80% of the time, it is energies that are just wanting, excuse me, my cat's gonna knock things over, like my phone and things like that. Like, not all the times cats are doing things naughty, but sometimes they are. So not all of the times it's bad, although sometimes it's just you trying to practice of learning how to come out of your body. So like when I was younger, when I was a kid and I would have these experiences, I would say 80% of the time was that. It was me trying to go out. I never felt that story I just told you is happened a few times, but it's more rare than it isn't. But the problem is that anytime you want to open up to something and you want to learn something, and you want to say, okay, I want to, use my sight. I want to know about astral projection. I want to know about, spirits and all this stuff. You have to understand there's going to be the side that's trying to help, teach you and elevate you, and there's going to be a side that's going to oppress you, just like here in life. So you can't put it all in one box. You can't just say all of that was scary, so therefore it's all bad. And that's kind of what a lot of times happens in this realm, is that it's taught to people, oh, be careful, oh my gosh, all this is bad, something's attacking you, because it's just an easier sell. And it also kind of shoos you away from really trying to understand and really trying to like hone your own abilities, because just like anything life, you learn to drive a car, you can be responsible, it gets you from A to B, it's a really great thing, it's a really great tool, but obviously there's a sinister side, that things go wrong in a car, and people can use it as on the negative, can hurt people, sometimes not purposely, but I'm just saying, like anything in life, there's going to be the yin and the yang of it, and you don't want to toss it all out just because these things can happen. So how you stop it is, this is what I've learned. Every day I do a protection around me. I mean, now it's kind of an automatic, just like automatically you brush your teeth, right? Or you get your coffee. I myself use not just light, which I know people have talked about, a golden light of protection, but I pretty much call upon and make the statement verbally, telepathically, all of it, that I'm walking in a space of protection. Before I go to sleep, I do the same. I cleanse my space, I cleanse me. This should be a weekly thing. If you're at all interested, and if you're watching this video, you probably are, if you're at all interested in this type of thing and you're peeking into it, you're raising your vibration, putting a Wi-Fi out signal to that realm saying, hey, I'm here for you guys to communicate with, to, I'm open to into this realm. And you're also raising your vibration and your spirit to start to kind of explore everything in that realm. So if you're doing all of that, then you have to do the maintenance of protecting and to learn how to control it. So as you go to sleep, you should be always calling in a protective force, whatever the force you believe in, and you need to learn how to control it. If you want to learn how to have your spirit leave the body, if you're practicing this thing, always remember to have a cord connecting from your body to your spirit. That way your spirit isn't it's not like you're actually leaving, it's a consciousness, right? It's a vibrational energy. It's the astral body taking a ride while you're actually sitting like right here. So you have to learn how to control it, how to come in and come out. The other thing that kind of comes to me, I like to use movies as examples because they're visual and I love movies and everybody loves movies. But Avatar, the movie, was about his spirit basically going into a body and learning how to control. Obviously, they did it, in a scientific way, but that is based on spirituality. The whole movie is based on spirituality. But he had to learn to control the body. And that's just kind of like the same thing, vice versa. You have to learn to control the spirit and what you're going to be doing with it. So if you're going to play with this, and if you're not interested, by the way, if you're like, listen, Adela, like that's all good, but actually this is happening to me and I just don't want it to, and I'm not interested, then that's when you still have to do protection, and you got to verbalize and say, I'm not interested in this, be gone, go away. I'm putting a kibosh on this, and stop. You have the power to stop this at any time. Okay, so if you're not interested in it, you can stop it. But it may take some time to, shut this down. If you are someone who is interested in honing it, then please take it upon yourself to learn to practice it, to learn how to understand it, to learn how to raise your vibration, to learn how to put protection. And you can have some very interesting experiences, and you'll know the difference between something that is breaking the rules and not adhering to the laws, and the time where you're really just trying to explore and see what's going on. I would say don't be afraid. I don't like that fear is definitely the selling point in this type of thing. It always is. It's a much easier, quicker way to get people kind of excited into something is through fear. You just have to look at it like the Force. There's Yoda and there's Darth Vader. And by the way, Darth Vader wasn't like exactly horrible, right? He served a purpose in the sense of helping understand the inner powers and things like that we have, meaning like there is two sides. One can be oppressive and one can be lifting. And there is a warrior. In other words, he was a warrior, and so was Yoda. It was just deciding which way you're going to use your warrior side, right? So, so I'm just trying to say, like, don't toss it all out, because there's certain ways it can go wonky. Anything that you learn in life that can be an amazing experience can also have the other flip side to it. You just have to learn about it. You have to face it and understand it, and then you'll know how to make sure that it's not coming into your sphere. I don't want you to be afraid that there's like all these dark, like evil things. That's not how it is. There's just some energies that think it's fun to like, hey, let's just pull you out of your body and just play over here with us. You seem to be interested. And you're like, no, I'll be the one to decide that. I'll decide it, when I want to kind of do this. If you have dreams of flying and things like this, that's another thing I had my whole life, of flying in dreams and things like that. That's another way of teaching you how to, leave the body and explore. And so all these things can be actually really positive, and you can have really amazing experiences. You just have to learn protection. Use your incense. If you're someone who likes crystals, you can put a black tourmaline by your bed, which is supposed to take away negative energy. But I always say about crystals, go with what works for you, because I'm not really big into black tourmaline. I like more, I like just more, different types, like, oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I just like blinked for a second. I have all my crystals right here in front of me. But like amethyst, I tend to like, and I like to just use really just clear crystals. I'm not really big into black tourmaline. It just didn't work for me. But you got to kind of pick up the crystal and you'll know which one works for you, what resonates for you. Black tourmaline people like because they feel like it takes away the negative energy. So a lot of times people put it by their bed. Totally can do that. Some people carry it around with them. You can totally do that as well. So you got to kind of go with what resonates for you. And that's kind of why I don't feel like I, want to tell you like what crystal to get. I kind of never do for people. I just say go and explore and hold them in your hands and see which is the ones you work for. You can see I have this big block of selenite back here. I put my crystals on there to cleanse them and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I really go with what I'm getting pulled towards. Sometimes it's onyx, sometimes it's not. But you kind of find your own little toolbox. Incense, crystals, you got to kind of look at if you're going to be down this road and if you're going to go down this path, you have to take it seriously and kind of decide how you're going to cleanse and protect weekly. And daily, you should always be conscious of calling on protection. I like quartz, clear quartz, which is one of my favorites because you can push energy into it and you could take, but I'll do a whole video on crystals. I'm not the crystal expert, as you can see, but I do work with them as with wands, and I'll talk about way I tend to use them, which is kind of much more from an intuitive sense, and I believe everyone should find what works for them. So kind of this whole thing is about with sleep paralysis is if you're going to go down this path of wanting to open yourself up, yes, you're going to have interesting experiences, including sleep paralysis, and you need to learn about both sides of it and about protection. And it is your spirit trying to go out and learning how to control it. Speaking of which, as I wrap up and say thank you for watching this, and I'm sorry if I didn't answer enough questions. If I didn't, please comment. I will. Like I said, some of these videos I'm going to probably come back around and do other videos on top of it because it's so much to cover, and I just want to answer as many questions as I can. I get a lot of emails and people asking, and so I'm doing my best to kind of dissect everything at a time. But I'm going to be doing a class with Dylan and I at Mystic Museum on spirit communication. In that class, he's going to talk about the first part of the class, the history and things like this. And I, in the second part of the class, I'm going to take you to that realm. And when I take you to that realm, I show you about protection. I show you how to raise your vibration and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it here online. I used to. If you're interested in that, let me know. But, if you are in the LA area, we'll be doing that June 26th. And follow me on Instagram, Adele Levine, to find out. So follow me on Instagram. All social media is Adele Levine. You can check out our podcast, The Witch in the Medium. Right now it's on Spotify and Anchor and other things. Thank you guys for listening. Follow yourself. Listen to no one. Don't follow another person to tell you everything. No, you know the answers. They're inside you. All we're trying to do as spiritual people is to kind of help unlock it for you, or help you unlock it, and remind you of who you are. Thanks so much, guys. All right. See you soon.